Every night, millions of Americans dutifully prepare their bedtime protein shakes, convinced they're optimizing muscle recovery while they sleep. The global protein supplement industry, worth over $30 billion annually, has built its empire on this single premise: more protein equals better recovery. But what if this entire approach has been fundamentally flawed from the beginning? Recent breakthrough research from leading sports medicine laboratories across the United States has uncovered something that challenges everything we thought we knew about overnight muscle recovery. Two specific vitamins, when properly utilized by the body, can trigger muscle regeneration processes that surpass anything achievable through protein supplementation alone. This discovery has sent shockwaves through the scientific community and forced researchers to completely rethink how human muscle recovery actually works. The implications are staggering. Americans spend approximately $4 billion each year on protein powders and recovery supplements, with bedtime protein consumption being one of the most widely recommended practices among fitness professionals. Yet clinical studies now reveal that people consuming adequate amounts of these two vitamins show superior muscle protein synthesis rates, faster recovery times, and enhanced overnight muscle growth compared to those relying solely on protein supplementation. Dr. Michael Peterson, a leading researcher in muscle metabolism at the University of Michigan, recently published findings that sent ripples through the sports nutrition world. His team discovered that the human body possesses sophisticated mechanisms for overnight muscle recovery that operate independently of external protein intake. These mechanisms, when properly activated by specific micronutrients, can produce results that exceed traditional protein-based approaches by margins that surprised even the researchers themselves. The story begins in 2019 when researchers at the National Institute of Health noticed something unusual in their sleep studies. Athletes who consumed certain vitamin combinations before bed showed dramatically different muscle recovery patterns compared to those following conventional protein protocols. What started as an incidental observation evolved into a comprehensive investigation that would ultimately challenge decades of sports nutrition dogma. Initial studies focused on sleep architecture and muscle recovery, but researchers quickly realized they were observing something far more profound. During deep sleep phases, participants with optimal levels of these two vitamins exhibited enhanced cellular repair mechanisms that seemed to operate through entirely different pathways than those activated by amino acid consumption. The muscle tissue analysis revealed protein synthesis rates that defied conventional understanding of how recovery works. Dr. Sarah Martinez, who led the groundbreaking research at Stanford Sleep Medicine Center, described the findings as paradigm-shifting. Her team monitored muscle recovery in two groups of trained athletes over 12 weeks. The first group followed standard bedtime protein protocols, consuming 25 grams of casein protein before sleep. The second group received specific dosages of two vitamins without any additional protein supplementation. The results were unprecedented. The vitamin group showed 23% greater muscle protein synthesis during overnight hours, measured through advanced muscle biopsy techniques and isotopic tracers. Even more remarkable, their recovery markers indicated reduced muscle damage and faster strength restoration compared to the protein group. These findings suggested that the body's natural recovery mechanisms, when properly supported, could outperform external protein supplementation. But the story gets more intriguing. When researchers analyzed the biochemical pathways involved, they discovered that these vitamins activate a cascade of cellular processes that optimize the body's ability to utilize existing amino acid pools more efficiently. Rather than flooding the system with external proteins, these vitamins enhance the body's natural ability to recycle, repair, and rebuild muscle tissue using resources already present in the bloodstream and cellular environment. The first vitamin, often overlooked in sports nutrition discussions, plays a crucial role in activating specific enzymes responsible for muscle protein synthesis. This vitamin functions as a cofactor in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which directly impact how the body builds and repairs muscle tissue during sleep. When deficient in this vitamin, the body's ability to process and utilize amino acids becomes severely compromised, regardless of protein intake levels. Research conducted at the Mayo Clinic revealed that nearly 40% of American adults have suboptimal levels of this vitamin, particularly those following intense training regimens. The irony is striking. The very people most focused on muscle recovery are often deficient in one of the most critical nutrients for that process. This deficiency creates a bottleneck effect, where consuming more protein provides diminishing returns because the body lacks the enzymatic machinery to process it effectively. The second vitamin operates through an entirely different mechanism, focusing on cellular energy production and mitochondrial function within muscle tissue. During sleep, Muscle cells undergo intensive repair and regeneration processes that require enormous amounts of cellular energy. This vitamin ensures that mitochondria can produce adequate ATP to fuel these recovery processes throughout the night. Studies from the American College of Sports Medicine demonstrate that this vitamin directly influences growth hormone release patterns during sleep. Participants with optimal levels showed enhanced growth hormone pulses during deep sleep phases, correlating with improved muscle recovery and adaptation. The vitamin essentially optimizes the body's natural anabolic environment during sleep, creating conditions more favorable for muscle growth than those achieved through protein supplementation alone. What makes this discovery particularly remarkable is how these vitamins work synergistically with the body's circadian rhythm. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that both vitamins follow specific absorption and utilization patterns that align perfectly with natural sleep cycles. When consumed at optimal times, they create a biological environment that maximizes overnight recovery while minimizing the metabolic stress associated with processing large amounts of protein before bed. The protein supplement industry has built its foundation on the concept of the anabolic window and the necessity of constant amino acid availability. However, emerging research suggests that this approach may actually interfere with the body's natural recovery mechanisms. Consuming large amounts of protein before sleep can elevate core body temperature, disrupt sleep architecture, and place additional metabolic burden on the digestive system during hours when the body should be focused on recovery and restoration. Dr. James Wilson, a sports nutritionist who has worked with Olympic athletes for over 2 decades, describes witnessing dramatic improvements when athletes transition from bedtime protein protocols to targeted vitamin supplementation. Athletes reported better sleep quality, faster recovery times, and improved training adaptations. Most surprisingly, many experienced these benefits while reducing their overall protein intake, challenging fundamental assumptions about protein requirements for serious athletes. The economic implications extend beyond individual savings. If these findings gain widespread acceptance, they could reshape an industry worth billions of dollars. Major supplement companies have invested heavily in protein-centric marketing campaigns, building consumer loyalty around the belief that more protein always equals better results. This research suggests that targeted micronutrient optimization may be far more effective and cost-efficient. Clinical trials from multiple research centers have consistently demonstrated that individuals with adequate levels of these 2 vitamins show superior recovery metrics regardless of their protein intake levels. Muscle soreness decreases, strength restoration improves, and markers of muscle damage remain lower compared to those relying primarily on protein supplementation. These findings suggest that addressing micronutrient deficiencies should be the first priority in any recovery protocol. The first vitamin, scientifically known as vitamin D3, influences muscle recovery through multiple pathways simultaneously. It regulates calcium handling within muscle cells, optimizes testosterone production, and enhances the expression of genes responsible for muscle protein synthesis. Research from the University of California reveals that vitamin D receptors are present throughout muscle tissue, indicating that this vitamin directly communicates with muscle cells to coordinate recovery processes. Deficiency in vitamin D has reached epidemic proportions in the United States, with studies indicating that over 70% of Americans have suboptimal levels. This widespread deficiency helps explain why so many people struggle with muscle recovery despite consuming adequate protein. The vitamin D receptors in muscle tissue cannot function properly without sufficient vitamin availability, creating a recovery bottleneck that protein supplementation cannot overcome. The second vitamin, magnesium, operates as a critical cofactor in energy production and muscle relaxation mechanisms. During sleep, muscle tissue undergoes continuous cycles of contraction and relaxation that facilitate repair and waste removal. Magnesium ensures these processes occur smoothly while supporting the enzymatic reactions necessary for protein synthesis. Research from Johns Hopkins demonstrates that magnesium deficiency directly impairs muscle recovery regardless of protein intake levels. American dietary patterns have created widespread magnesium insufficiency, with processed foods and agricultural practices reducing the mineral content of commonly consumed foods. Athletes and active individuals are particularly vulnerable because exercise increases magnesium requirements while simultaneously increasing losses through sweat and metabolic processes. This creates a perfect storm where the people most focused on recovery are often deficient in one of the most critical nutrients for that process. The synergistic relationship between vitamin D3 and magnesium creates an amplified effect on muscle recovery. Vitamin D requires magnesium for proper activation and function, while magnesium depends on adequate vitamin D levels for optimal cellular uptake. When both nutrients are present in sufficient quantities, they create a biological environment that maximizes the body's natural recovery capabilities during sleep. Recent studies from the International Journal of Sports Nutrition reveal that athletes supplementing with optimal doses of both vitamins show recovery improvements that exceed those achieved through any protein-based intervention. Muscle protein synthesis rates increase, inflammatory markers decrease, and sleep quality improves significantly. These athletes report feeling more recovered upon waking and demonstrate superior training adaptations over time. The practical implications for everyday Americans are profound. Rather than investing in expensive protein powders and complex supplementation protocols, individuals can achieve superior results through targeted correction of these common nutrient deficiencies. The cost difference is dramatic. A month's supply of quality vitamin D3 and magnesium costs less than a single container of premium protein powder. Implementation requires precision and timing. Vitamin D3 supplementation should occur with the largest meal of the day to optimize absorption, while magnesium is most effective when consumed 90 minutes before bedtime. This timing aligns with natural circadian rhythms and ensures optimal nutrient availability during peak recovery hours. Dosages must be individualized based on current blood levels, body weight, and training demands. For vitamin D3, research suggests that most Americans require between 2,000 and 4,000 international units daily to achieve optimal blood levels. However, testing is crucial because individual requirements vary dramatically based on factors including skin pigmentation, geographic location, sun exposure, and genetic variations in vitamin D metabolism. The goal is achieving blood levels between 40 and 60 nanograms per milliliter, the range associated with optimal muscle function and recovery. Magnesium requirements typically range from 400 to 600 milligrams daily, with higher amounts needed for individuals engaged in intense training. The form of magnesium matters significantly, with magnesium glycinate showing superior absorption and bioavailability compared to cheaper forms like magnesium oxide. Quality supplementation ensures adequate cellular uptake without the digestive issues associated with inferior magnesium forms. The transformation in muscle recovery becomes apparent within 2 to 4 weeks of optimization. Sleep quality improves first, followed by reduced muscle soreness and faster strength restoration between training sessions. Athletes consistently report feeling more energetic upon waking and demonstrate improved training consistency as recovery debt decreases. This nutritional approach represents a fundamental shift from symptom management to root cause resolution. Rather than continuously adding more protein to compensate for poor recovery, individuals address the underlying nutrient deficiencies that impair recovery mechanisms. The result is a more sustainable, cost-effective approach that works with the body's natural processes rather than overwhelming them. The evidence is clear. Optimal muscle recovery depends more on micronutrient status than protein intake. These two vitamins provide the foundation for the body's sophisticated recovery mechanisms, enabling natural processes that surpass anything achievable through external protein supplementation. For Americans serious about muscle recovery, the path forward involves testing, targeted supplementation, and patience as the body rebuilds its nutrient stores. The revolution in overnight muscle recovery starts not with another protein shake, but with understanding and optimizing the nutrients that control how effectively your body repairs and rebuilds itself while you sleep. The science has spoken, and the results speak for themselves.